Hello everyone and welcome back to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing. We've got some more action coming your way tonight from China, the one place where we are definitely not going to be going in F1 2020 season, but that is what we're here for tonight. And tonight we are here for Golden Class. This is round 2 of Season 10, our anniversary season of this beautiful league. Lots of work being done on this season and lots of new exciting things. And speaking of new exciting things, I am very, very excited to introduce a very new member to our own commentary team here. And by, just judging by his name, he should be a pretty good one. It's Chatty Doug. How you doing?
Hey Blin, it's a pleasure to be here with you today for this race. Looking forward to seeing how the Golden Class guys get on here in China. Quite a difficult track I've found in practice for Platinum Class tomorrow, so I'm excited to see how these guys can cope with the track and with the racing.
Yeah, so welcome to our league, welcome to the commentary team. As I said, it's very exciting to have you on board, and I think we're going to have a good one here today. Just judging by Silver Class last night, it was definitely quite an exciting race. There was quite a bit of action going on track with a lot of people trying to overtake. A couple of incidents, we've had a couple of spinouts. You said that this is a technical track. What would you say makes it really, tricky or difficult? What are the key aspects of that?
Well, there's quite a lot of technical corners, like for example turns 1 and 2. That's a very important corner to get right for lap time. And the middle sector as well is quite tight and twisty, and there's no real chances to overtake there. So really, in terms of overtaking at this track, you're looking at maybe turn 1, because that's a DRS straight, at the end of a DRS straight. Obviously the back straight, which is another DRS straight with the hairpin at the end. And apart from that, maybe turn 4 just at the start of sector 2. So yeah, not a lot of overtaking opportunities here. The drivers have got to be really on their game to stick close to the cars in front and just try and make the most of any opportunities they can find at those locations.
And I think one of our first drivers to try it out here right now is M9H Racing. He has just lit up Sector 2 in purple, so that is looking pretty good. And this is one of those tricky corners you mentioned, turn 13. You got to get a really great run out of here to get onto the straight, onto the DRS. Getting a little bit of slipstream there, M9H Racing from another car, and now running down the back straight onto the one, I would say probably the hardest corner on this track for me personally, is this right-hander right at the end here. And now coming up to the last corner on this track, turn 16. This is the corner that we're going to be watching from our steward's side of view. They're going to be looking at people not cutting that one. And M9H Racing sets a very nice time to start with, 130.9. Behind him in 10th with a 131.5. He is on the medium tire, and now McLaren has just crossed the line, 131.7 on the soft, so a little bit behind the current pace of M9H Racing. There we go. Gold Raider goes up into the provisional pole position at the moment with a 130.6, and RC7 puts in a 134.1. That must have been some sort of a mistake somewhere, and I'm sure that he will bounce back from that. In 10th, though, he is the winner of last week's race, round 1 in Bahrain. He was absolutely amazing in that race, and he's definitely playing a pretty good strategy here right now. Currently, I think he might be able to stick within the top 10 on that time. He's currently 5th, dropping down a little bit quickly there. Chargers goes into 3rd. Oh, there we go. D'Angelo, 130.3. In terms of, getting the pace on a one-lap sort of basis over here in qualifying, what would you recommend for our drivers?
Well, from my time practicing around here on time trial, I'd say the 2 main things to focus on are your car positioning going into certain corners. So for example, like I mentioned before, turns 1 and 2, that's a really important corner in terms of where you position your car. Make sure you get the best exit through there. And also on traction as well, because some of these corners are quite limited on traction. I'm just watching Asio 04. He just went through the double left-hander at the end of the second sector, And that's a corner that's caught me out quite a few times in terms of traction on the exit. You can lose it quite easily through there. And then also the long banked right-hander onto the back straight as well. Again, position your car correctly and get good traction, and that'll set you up for a good lap time. Hopefully we could see the guys get into the 129s today. I'm hopeful for that.
And in the meantime there, Bam Bam goes into provisional pole with a 130.293, beating D'Angelo just by about a tenth, so not much in there, but definitely doing a very good job right now. And looking at the pace and the difference between the times of our top 6 right now, they're all within about 7/10 of each other. I'm sure those times are going to improve once we get to the later stages of qualifying. But just to walk you guys through one lap of this track, we're going to wait while Ben Swerven is going to come across the line here very soon, or actually Fuzz. Let's see who's going to be getting there sooner. I think it's going to be Ben Swerven. We're going to go through one lap of China. As we've already mentioned, it's a very tricky track. It's a very tricky lap around here. You got to manage your tires. You got to manage temperatures and everything during the race. But during the qualifying, I think you just got to make sure that you get a good line through all of the corners. There's a couple of really nice sweeping corners, but let's go with Ben Swerven on board here for a lap of China, coming down into turn 1 now. You can really just use the engine braking here. You don't really have to use too much of the brake, and you can see Ben Swerven is just using a touch of braking there to get into this corner. Corner 2, got to get a good exit out of here, get that corner wide, and then you get a nice run into corners 3, 4, and 5. Those are going to come at you really quick right now. And there we go into turn 6, and now into turn 7 and 8. This is a nice left-hander. I really love this combination of corners over here. Jumping from this left-hander into the right-hander, just using, again, the engine braking to slow yourself down. And then now into turn 9 and 10. This is another corner that the stewards are going to be watching to make sure that people don't cut it on the inside and also don't go outside of that white and red curb. Ben Swerven setting the second purple sector again, so that's very nice from him. Now he's currently sitting at 17th, has not put in a run, but this run is currently looking very good. And now we're on the back straight now, sector 3. It's pretty much just a big straight with a couple of corners at the end of the track. And coming up to a huge braking zone here. Brake at about 100 meters. Try to slow down the car as much as you can. He's staying in second gear, getting a huge run on the outside of that apex. And now just corner 16 to go. Getting a huge run through there as well. Opening up the DRS down to the line. He goes up into 7th place with a 130.9. And that was a very nice lap there.
Yeah, very tidy lap there from Ben. I'm just looking at Intense at the moment. He's just started off a flying lap because he, so far, is the only man who has set a time on the medium tyres, which would theoretically set him up for a one-stop during the race, but he has just fallen outside of the top 10 due to Ben moving up to 7th place, so Intent feels like he has to set a good time on the softs to try and get back up near the top of the times and charts. So I'm just watching him go around now through the middle sector, and it'll be interesting to see how he does on this lap. He set a green first sector. I guess that's not really surprising considering he is on the quickest tyre now, but just coming up towards the end of sector 2, he's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him as well, and we'll just see here he's 9/10 up on his previous best as he comes into 3rd sector now, so Intent looking like he's on a good lap at the moment.
Car looking a little bit wiggly there through the run of turn 13 or turn 10, sorry. Oh no, yeah, turn 13. And opening up the DRS now on the back straight. Intent definitely wants to start in a good position, but it looks like he's abandoned that medium strategy, so the one stop is probably out of the window unless he's gonna stretch out his softs at the start of the race and go on to the medium tire. What do you think is the optimal strategy around here, or what would be sort of the quickest strategy in your opinion?
Well, I think the quickest would be as Intent goes 3rd fastest on 130.4. I do think the fastest would be the medium onto the hards, to be honest, because it's a bit of a risk to try and stretch the softs far enough so that you can, make the one-stop work starting on the soft tyre. But I think in terms of, because pretty much everyone, I see TCR Jones at the moment, he's out there on mediums. But for the rest of the guys who are all on the softs, I'd say 2-stop, soft, medium, medium maybe, or soft, medium, soft. I tend to prefer the medium tyres over the soft tyres because they give you a bit more consistency at the back end of your stints. They don't fall away in the same way that the soft tyres do. But it'll be interesting to see in the race if anyone does try, gamble on the one stop and just try and make those tyres last as long as they can.
Yeah, and Tent is a rookie, just a reminder, in this league as well. He just came into this league out of nowhere, and he has won a race and currently sitting in third in this qualifying session. In the meantime, we're watching Aero Fizen as he is going on another really quick lap. We've still got 6.5 minutes to go in qualifying. We've seen everybody pretty much complete at least a couple of runs already. I've never really seen that before. Usually people do a run and then they wait and then they come back on again. But Aero Fizen now coming into turn 15. Very nice run through there. Oh, a little bit wiggly on the outside now. Only one more corner to go. And so far he's had both of the first and second sector purple. So let's see if this is going to be a purple lap. It is 1:30.102, almost getting into those 1:29s, and very exciting. I think somebody might touch those towards the end of the session.
Yeah, that would be awesome if we could see a 1:29 lap. I'm just looking at the bottom of the chart. We've got Segrist and Flying Jippo. Segrist is still in the pits, having not set a time. Flying Jippo is out there at the moment, and he moves up to 10th place. He is on the medium tyre, so again, interesting here in terms of tyre strategy. If he can stay in that top 10, then that could work out for him very nicely in the Grand Prix later.
And yeah, a couple of people there were having moments. You having a giggle, and RC7 both had a spin in a couple of different parts of the track. It looks like you having a giggle is now just parked on the track. They're trying to let some people through. There's definitely quite a few people now on their runs and getting ready for their runs. It looks like D'Angelo is going to be crossing the line here in a little bit. But yeah, everybody's towards that third sector, so we're going to have to wait for them to come around. Bam Bam is completing a lap, or I think he's on a quick lap right now. It does definitely... It looks like his car is getting a little bit twitchy there on the entry to corners 5 and 6, but doing very well overall. Just want to throw out a huge shout out to everybody who's watching already. We've got like 15 or 14 people that have signed on to the stream. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Leave us some comments. There we go. There's the first comment coming in. Kyle Blevin says, yeah, I lost like 4/10 that lap. So I'm guessing Kyle is one of the people that were watching. It might be in 10th even.
Yep, just on board with Bam Bam here on the back straight. He's going to be braking for the hairpin any moment now, just before the 100-meter board where the curving starts on the left-hand side. So he's about to come around the final corner. Can he take pole position away? No, he's coming into the pits. So I guess he already set a lap time, and hopefully he's got time to pit and slap on a new set of soft tyres and get out for one final run. I just want to come back to a point you mentioned before about the guys going for 2 or 3 runs in this qualifying session. I think everyone realizes that around this track, it's really important to try and get as good a grid position as possible. So if you do a lap and feel like you didn't quite get the most out of your car, then here, more than at certain other tracks, it's really important to try and maximize qualifying.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I'm just watching another rookie here tonight as well, ISRL Knight. I actually know him from another league from ISRL. He is quite quick and currently sitting in 11th place with a 139.3, but he's about to come to the end of this lap now, and we'll see what he can do here. He is a very capable driver, but I know he is driving here tonight with Racing Line only as his first time. Oh, and he goes into the pits as well, so I guess a couple of people have decided to abandon their laps, but we've still got a few more out there. Chargers is out on an out lap. Joshua, M9H Racing, RC7 and Fuzz and Seagrease all getting warmed up and getting ready for the closing moments here of qualifying. It's going to be very close at the front. Aerofizen is currently holding pole with a 130.1. Bam Bam right behind him with a 130.2, and he is coming out on another outlap as well right now on a brand new set of soft tires. Ben Swerven was doing a pretty good job here in the first stages of disqualifying right now, sitting in 5th place. He's doing another lap there right now, and yeah, there's just so much going on track right now. I'm not really sure who to watch.
Yep, I'm just looking again down at the lower end of the chart, seeing that there's RC7 on a 134 and Fuzz Alim on a 136.7. I'm just thinking that those guys probably haven't had their best lap so far. And Siegrist, I don't know if Siegrist has gone for laps and then just pulled out of them, or whether this is his only time running in this session. He must be feeling quite confident if that's the case. He's just coming towards the end of the second sector, so I'll just see what kind of a time he does. 50.647, and well, my timing, my track map says purple. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but we'll have to see as he comes round onto the back straight towards the end of the lap.
And now we've got everybody out there. Aerofizen has come out on a brand new set. Bam Bam is going to start his lap. This is going to be his last run, his last chance to try and take away pole in tonight's race here. He's coming into turn 1 right now. Let's watch this lap as he gets a really nice run there, very close to the inside apex, and then using the engine braking to try and turn into turns 2 and 3. Very nicely done there. Siegrist goes onto pole, and there you go. You have your 129s. It's a 129.935.
Yeah, he must have been very confident then, because that's his only run, and straight into the 129s. That's a very impressive lap time from Siegrist.
Absolutely, and we unfortunately missed that one, but we're watching Bam Bam here as he's on a pretty good run so far as well. Coming to the end of the second sector, let's see if he's gonna get a purple time. I know that he got a little bit twitchy there through one of the corners in the first sector, but overall, there we go. Another purple second sector from Bam Bam. It's gonna be almost 2/10 quicker than Siegrist. So Aerofizen, is he gonna make it to the line? I see him coming around the last corner right now on the mini-map.
Yeah, he's just about gonna make it. He's just crossing the line now with 5 seconds, so he's gonna get a lap in.
So we're going to have probably a 5 or 6 way battle for pole position here tonight in round 2 of season 10 of TCR. This is Golden Class again, and these guys are doing a beautiful job so far. Very entertaining already in qualifying as Bam Bam now touches the grass just a little bit on the outside of turn 16, comes across the line. He's going to stay third. Aerofizen and Siegrist are both out there. Aerofizen is just coming to the end of the first sector, or just finished the first sector. Who's going to be next across the line here? Where is Intent? Intent is coming around turn 13, so he's going to be coming onto the front, on the back straight now, and opening up the DRS. He's got a little bit of ways to go here. Who else is going to be crossing the line here? Aerofizen is just finishing the second sector. How is his time going to be here? He is purple by 1.2 of a second. So, yeah, Siegrist goes into the pit, so that's it. That's going to be all we see from him on this one. Intent is now coming across the line. Where is he going to go? He goes first, 129.879. Holy, that was very quick. Aerofizen is on the back straight right now, coming into turn 14 and 15. So we're going to be seeing if he's going to have any chance of taking Intent off of pole, but Intent doing an amazing job and putting himself into a great position here for this Chinese Grand Prix. Aerofizen coming around turn 16 now, and Joshua retires from the session. Aero goes second, 129.879, exactly the same time.
That's
he matches the time of Intent. They're in 2 completely different cars, and they do an incredibly amazing job here to match up each other's time. So there's nothing to separate them.
That's unbelievable. I'd love to know if that's ever happened in TCR before. And you've got Siegrist less than 1/10 of a second behind in third. That's amazing. Those 3 guys are going to be so close together in the race if qualifying is anything to go by. Wow. Fantastic.
And then Yeah, the rest of the grid here tonight, we have Bam Bam in fourth with a 130.229, so also not very far away from the first three. D'Angelo in fifth, Mr. Joshua in sixth, ISRL Knight making his debut here in TCR in seventh place, very good qualifying from him. TCR Jones in eighth, M9H Racing in ninth, Ben Swerven takes 10th position, and then Gold Raider 11th, Chargers in 12th, Flying Jippo in 13th, Fuzz in 14th, not gonna be happy with that qualifying. I'm sure if that intense car there crashes while under AI on the back lap there. McLaren in 15th, Red Wing Racing in 16th. We've got ASIO in 17th, RC7 in 18th, and You Having a Giggle in 19th place.
I love that name, You Having a Giggle. That's a great name.
It's actually You Having a Giggle Mate, so...
Yeah, fantastic.
So, Intense steals pole position here, but he gets matched up with Aerofizen with exactly the same time here, but it's going to be Intent on the front row and on pole position here tonight for the Chinese Grand Prix in round 2 of Season 10 of Golden Class. Aerofizen, as I said, matches up that time to the millisecond, exactly the same time. Z-Grease, 56 thousandths of a second away. Those three are just going to be incredible during the start. I'm going to keep my eye on those. Bam Bam in 4th, D'Angelo 5th, Joshua in 6th, ISRL Knight in 7th, Jones in 8th, M9H Racing in 9th, Ben Swerven in 10th, Goldorator in 11th, Chargers in 12th, Flying Jippo 13th, Fuzz 14th, McLaren, Red Wing, ASIO, RC7, and You Having a Giggle Mate round up the grid here tonight. So, one thing I do actually want to see as soon as we get through the loading screen is the sort of look of the weather. China is known for rain. Do you think we might get a chance of that here tonight?
Yeah, there's definitely a good chance of getting some rain. That'll obviously throw the tyre strategy out of the window, and it looks, is it kind of overcast at the moment, or is that sort of light cloud? Hard to say.
Just sort of cloudy, I guess, but it is promising. Let's just call it that.
Yep, and I was just looking through the guys there as well, and we've got only 2 guys starting on the mediums. Well, they set their time on the mediums anyway. Flying Jippo and Fuzz Alim, they were on the medium tyre in qualifying, but they were outside of the top 10, which of course means that they can start on whichever tyre they want for the Grand Prix. Just interesting as well to note that because those 2 guys said exactly the same time, I think the ruling in Formula One is that whoever sets that time first out of the 2 is the one who takes pole position, which is the reason why we have Intent, I think, starting in first place for this race.
Absolutely, yeah, good mention there, and now we know that because I was wondering if they would like line them up side by side or how would they do it, but it makes perfect sense, I guess, with track. Evolution, whoever sets that lap first is definitely had to do more work for that particular time. So, as we get ready here, you see our drivers going for their formation laps. We're gonna put on all of the stats that we're gonna want to see, especially right during the start here. I want to see who's starting on what tires, and just like I imagined, the top 10 are gonna start on that soft that they qualified on, but down from 11th and down, we've got a mix of soft and hard tires. So Golden Raider, Chargers, and Flying Jippo on the medium, Fuzz on the hard, McLaren, Red Wing, ASIO on the medium, and on the hard again. You Having a Giggle starting on the medium tires. So basically, there's going to be a mix of strategies, and I think from just looking over the replay of Silver from last night, I think what that's going to bring on is just a mix of different paces in the midfield. It's also possibly going to bring on a chance of some of the leaders having to come out of the pits in a lot of traffic, and then, having to make a lot of work to try and get through the field again. How do you avoid that? Is there any way of avoiding that, Chatty?
Do you mean in terms of traffic?
Yeah, timing your pit stops, or how do you figure out, by position of everybody else, where you're going to come out?
Well, it's quite difficult, as you can imagine. I guess it's useful to have the full track map on while you're racing, so you can see roughly where some of the midfield guys are. I think as well that there's a graphic on this year's game which tells you when your pit window opens and what position you're likely to come back out in. if you were to make a pit stop on that lap. So those are the kind of things that the drivers at the front could be using. But I'm really excited, like, to see the top 10 on the softs and everyone else on the mediums or the hards. That tells you everything you need to know about the kind of strategies we could expect for this race. Don't go anywhere, this is going to be a good one.
Absolutely, and thank you for everybody who's already tuned in to this stream. Make sure to leave us a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new to make sure you're catching all of the action. We're of course going to be back here tomorrow night with Platinum Class, which is always very exciting to watch. There's always amazing battles, but also is Golden Class, which we're watching here tonight, and they're lining up on the grid. We're going to be getting ready for the lights here in just a second for round 2 of Season 10 in Golden Class here at China. Get ready for what is definitely set to be a very exciting Grand Prix. Alright, so we are getting for the lights. There we go. 3, 4, 5 lights. And the lights go out and we go racing, and it looks like Bam Bam gets a really good start there. He's going down the inside on Aero Fizzan, and it also looks like Zegri's got a good start. Oh, and there we touch! They touch! No. It looks like Aero Fizzan, Bam Bam and Aero Fizzan have touched, and oh my god, they took out a couple of other people, so there was just wrecks off the start of this race now. Bam Bam is all the way down in 19th now, trying to make a move on RC7 with a broken front wing. So back at the start, Intent is leading already by almost a second. D'Angelo in second. Zegris is now in third. Aero Fizzan, does he have any damage? Let's take a look here, because I think, yes, he definitely has damage. He's missing an end plate on the front wing, so I think he is going to have to come in and change his strategy. This allowed ISRL Knight to jump all the way up into 5th place from his starting position of 7th, and Joshua has gained a position, as so did M9H Racing and Ben Swervin, so all of them gaining some positions right off the start of this race here, and that was very hectic.
Yep, turn 1 at China, it's, 2 does not go into 1 around here. That's always a tight fight to gain track position there, and ultimately sometimes it's inevitable that there's going to be contact and we're going to see guys spinning off, which was unfortunately what happened here. Just seeing M98 Racing has overtaken Mr. Joshua for 6th place, but Joshua is potentially coming back as they come down to the hairpin. And they're going side by side through that corner, but M9, I think, has held on, and Asio has moved up as well. Rogers has moved up into the 10, so already we're hairpin, going to be a major overtaking point around this circuit. As I saw a car in the background going to the pits, a couple of guys are going to the pits, Golderator.
Yeah, Golderator, you having a giggle, both of them, and also it looks like Jones and Bam Bam, of course, with that damage, all of them going into the pits. There's some battling up at the front, or in the midfield there, Joshua and Ben Swervin really taking it up. Oh, and Zegris has now taken the lead of this race. What happened there? I don't know what happened, but Intent is now in second, or no, Intent is back in first. I think that was just our glitch with the graphics here, so I do apologize about that. But D'Angelo is still holding on to second, Zegris in third, Aero Fizzan in fourth, Knight in 5th position. A very good start from him there. Flying Jippo is closing in on Ben Swervin, fighting for 7th position. It looks like Chargers is lining up a move on Joshua to try and make up his way through the field here tonight. It's been one hell of a start. There he goes. There goes Chargers down the inside into turn 11. Let's see if this is going to work out for him. It does. He moves up into 9th place in front of them. Flying Jippo was trying to move on Ben Swervin around the outside, but didn't quite work out. Ben Swervin almost losing the car there on the back straight, and now we've already got, no, we don't have DRS yet. We're supposed to be on lap 2, I think, but the graphics again are just glitching out a little bit and showing us the DRS is enabled. Flying Jippo moving up into 7th position, now goes around the outside of Ben Swervin into the last corner, or into the corner 14, sorry, and now he's up into 7th. In front of them, it looks like Intent has opened up quite a big gap. Oh, we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. It looks like you having a giggle? Is that, yeah, I think it's him who's having a little bit of a moment there.
Yeah, I wonder if he came together with maybe TCR Jones or Bam Bam. I didn't quite see what happened there. We've got someone in the pits, that's Mr. Joshua, and he's having a front wing change, so he's had some drama out there somewhere. It's quite annoying that Codemasters still haven't fixed this glitch with the timing screen, that people are out of position, but hey-ho, Intent 1.4 seconds up on lap 3, which is obviously crucial because he's broken the DRS 1 second window, which means that he can now just focus on his race pace rather than worrying about the guys behind. But it looks like we've got a decent battle up for second between D'Angelo, Stigris, and Pro. We're all about less than a second separating those three.
Oh, Flying Jippo there was lining up a move on M9H Racing, but M9 went wide into turn 10 and lost the car a little bit, so that allowed Flying Jippo to move up. And speaking of really nice battles here, I think this midfield battle is lining up to be a great one. We've got a nice little train, or a couple of different trains of cars going on around the track. Ben Swerven is now trying to fight back on M9H Racing, who's now making a move on Flying Jippo to move up into 6th place. Down into turn 14 now, they touch a little bit there, they both lock up onto braking. Ben Swerven now takes Flying Jippo down the inside and moves himself back into 7th position there. So Flying Jippo lost 2 positions in a matter of 1 corner there.
Yep, and that's a crucial move for the Williams guys to make, because they're on the soft tyres and Jippo is medium, so they really needed to clear him, because he probably would have been slowing them up at this phase of the Grand Prix, because they're on the superior tyre. But they wouldn't have been able to utilize that if they were stuck behind the Red Bull, so that was a crucial move for those guys to make.
And they were battling right off the bat with each other there into turns 1 and 2 and 3. They touched a little bit, and it looks like Ben Swerven had to hold the car back from spinning out. And now I'm also watching as Chargers is closing in to the back of Flying Jippo. Then now Flying Jippo is going for a move all around the outside of Ben Swerven in turns 8 and 7. I've never seen that being an overtaking move before, but as we mentioned at the start of this race, China is a hard one for overtaking, so you got to really make your opportunities wherever you can.
Yeah, because we've got the front 3 very close to each other. DRS, so D'Angelo and Stigris are going to be looking to make some moves here potentially. Intent, he got the lead more than a second at the start of this race, but now D'Angelo is looking up the inside and braking incredibly late for the hairpin. He's gone off. Intent moves back into the lead, and Stigris has overtaken D'Angelo for 2nd place as well, so that did not work out for D'Angelo.
And Intent into the pits. Intent into the pits. And D'Angelo went a little bit wide there on the exit of 16 as well. I just wanted to remind everyone and all the drivers that the stewards will be watching anybody leaving that red and white curb and going onto the green stuff. That will be an extension penalty or a warning, depending on how many times you do it, I guess.
I'm just wondering if Intent had some wing damage, because I think I joined him late, but I think he was having a wing change as he was in the pit lane there, because I did think lap 4 is quite an early lap to be stopping from the soft tyres, but he's on the mediums now. He's down in 12th place, and luckily have some clear air. He's about 4 seconds back from RC7 in 11th place, so maybe this will work out for Intent if he didn't have a front wing change, because obviously that will have lost him quite a bit of time.
Yeah, this is turning out to be quite a good race. We're only on lap 5 of 28 here tonight, and it's turning out to be action-packed from start to finish. Our start was a little bit hectic there with the incident between Bam Bam and Aero Fizen trying to make moves there, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out for Bam Bam. He lost a bit of his front wing, he had to pit, he dropped all the way down, and is currently sitting in 16th place. As we're watching Asio now trying to make a move around turn 13 on Chargers there, and it looks like he's not gonna take it. This Chargers manages to hold the position. They made a tiny bit of contact there, but that is very, very close. And now Asio is gonna think about going down the inside. And he is going to make the move. They make more contact now, and it looks like Asio has pretty much bullied his way into that position for now. Chargers is going to try and fight him back on this DRS zone as he now opens up the DRS. Let's see if he's going to be trying to close in. No, he's not. He's not closing in now. We've got 2 more people into the pits now, Aero Fizen and Ben Swerven. Aero Fizen was running, I think, in 3rd before he pitted there.
Yep, there are 3 guys left still out there on the softs. If I was them, I would be looking to pit this lap, because the grip is really going to start going away from those soft tyres, and the guys behind on the mediums. Flying Jippo started on the medium tyres. He's currently in 3rd place, so he's had a fantastic start to this Grand Prix, and he has put himself well and truly in the running here with the start that he has had on those tyres.
Yeah, so only 3 runners on the soft tire, as you mentioned there, and we will be paying attention to them to see if they will decide to go into the pits. I'm just looking to see if anybody is having any other battles right now. Looks like Asio is now closing in to the back of M9H Racing as they're coming around turns 11, 12 there. Very nice.
Very good exit.
Yeah, very nice job for him. I was gonna say altogether, he did start more down towards the grid there, towards the end of the grid, but he's doing a very good job as he's now going down the inside and around M9H Racing into 4th place. Is M9H Racing gonna think about a switch back here? No, he doesn't. He turns back.
Pits and
so both of the leaders into the pits now. I do want to see what sort of tires they're gonna be going on to. It looks like Z-Grease is going on the hard tire, and D'Angelo. Let's see what D'Angelo's going to do. He's going to follow suit. He will go on the hard tire as well. So our leaders are on the hards right now. Let's see where they're going to come out as well. How much traffic they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I'm just on board with Intent, who has caught up to RC7 very quickly. He's in 7th at the moment, and Sigris is behind him in 8th place. So I think Intent has held on to track position, although I really do think the story of this race is going to be those guys, those front 2 or 3 guys, flying Jippo, as Intent puts a move up the inside of RC7 to turn 4, so he's moved up into 6th position. But yeah, like I said, this race is really going to be a strategic battle now between the guys who I think will be doing a one-stop, like flying Jippo and Asio, and then you've got Intent, Segrist, Arrow, D'Angelo. D'Angelo is on the hard tires, Segrist is on the hard tires, so yeah, all kinds of different strategies going on here.
Aero Fizzin is closing into the back of Z-Grease very, very quickly as they are trying to clear this traffic. In front of them, they have RC7, who started on the hard tires, so he is not going anywhere or into the pits anytime soon. They're going to have to clear both of them here on merit. Fuzz goes into 3rd position, overtaking Chargers, and here goes Aero Fizzin thinking about a move here down into turn 14, down the inside of Z-Grease. It looks like he's going to make it stick. Is he going to think about a move on RC7 as well at the same time? Let's see if this is going to work out. No, he doesn't. He tucks back, and Z-Grease tucks behind him as well. But now he gets a massive run out of the last corner here, touching Aero Fizzin's back a little bit there. But Aero goes into 7th, and Z-Grease is going to think about doing an overtake around turns 1 and 2 here on RC7. It looks like it's going to work for him. He moves himself up into 8th position now, and D'Angelo has managed to get around RC7 as well.
Crucial for those guys to clear RC7, because as you said, Blin, RC7 is not pitting anytime soon. Then these 3 guys on those hard tires, so that's a really important move for those guys in this race. Intent is 2 seconds clear of Arrow, and he has Red Wing Racing 4 seconds up the road at the moment. So Intent's got a little bit of clear air here to try and make the most of his pace at the moment. We've got Chargers close up behind Fuzz Alim for 3rd place. Fuzz is on the hards that he started this race on, and Chargers is on the mediums that he started the race on. So you can imagine that his tires will be a bit more worn at this stage than Fuzz, but obviously, you know, the difference in performance between the mediums and hards is quite notable as well, so maybe matching each other at this stage.
And Z-Grease, even though he lost that position to Arrow, he is not letting up very easily. He does have DRS, and it's pretty much going to be crucial for him to stay within that DRS zone. We have a yellow flag there for Golderator, who went off at the exit of turn 13. Arrow just set the fastest lap of the race with a 134.6, so he's definitely on the charge right now. He's doing his best to try and get away from Z-Grease, but Z-Grease with that DRS and probably using a little bit of ERS as well, definitely doing a great job of staying behind them. Towards the front of the grid right now, we've got this very interesting fight between Chargers and Fuzz. Those 2 guys are on slightly different tires. They started on different tires, and you know, that's going to affect their strategies a little bit. Right now, though, as you mentioned before, they're doing a pretty good job of staying ahead of Intent and Arrow. Obviously, they don't have a pit stop in hand, but they might be able to stretch this stint and possibly go on another set of mediums or maybe even a soft, depending on how they are able to manage their tires. Do you think they're going to be quick enough to possibly contend for podium later on in this race?
Potentially. I mean, Intent is closing in at the moment on Red Wing Racing quickly, so if he can keep up this sort of pace, then those guys are probably going to be just sitting ducks for Intent later on. But at the moment, like, those guys, they've just got to focus on their own race, hit apexes, get good traction out of corners. Don't worry about the guys coming up behind you, because, you know, you cross that bridge when you come to it. At this stage of the race, you've just got to be consistent with your lap times and try to, you know, put yourself in with a chance later on in the race. You can't win the race on lap 10 as we're on now, but you can certainly lose it with a mistake.
And just wanted to pull up the position changes as it stands in the race right now. Flying Jippo leading the race in first, and he started in 13th place. Osseo currently running in second, starting in 17th. Fuzz started in 14th and running in third. Chargers running started in 12th, running in fourth, and Red Wing in 5th right now, but started in 16th. So pretty much everybody who used their tire strategies to their advantage and did not get tied up in any sort of incidents, they're the guys who are up in the front right now with a good strategy for the rest of this race. Obviously, the rest of our leaders, though, if they can keep up the sort of paces that we've seen here, or seen last week, for instance, from Intent and Aero and Z-Grease, I know those guys can definitely make some moves. Intent is now closing in on his teammate, so I'm guessing his teammate is probably a lap car. Or no, sorry, that's an AlphaTauri. Yeah, so he's closing up to Red Wing. Yeah, I got the two liveries confused there. Closing into the AlphaTauri of Red Wing Racing, and he is gonna go on the inside there and opening up the DRS, and I think that's gonna be a very easy overtake from him. And then Aero Fizen is now in the DRS zone of Red Wing Racing as well, so this might get heated up in a couple laps time, or maybe even in a lap's time.
Yep. 4.3 seconds now between Intent and Chargers in 4th place, so that will be his next target. I actually saw Chargers just a minute ago. He went wide on the exit of turn 10, which is one of the areas that the stewards are going to be looking out for, so he needs to be wary of that. And Red Wing's gone a little bit wide into turn 1, which has given Arrow a chance, and he's going round the outside to move up into 6th place, so that's a good move from Arrow. That keeps him within touching distance of Intent, which is crucial. It's going to be really interesting now, I think, for these guys who started up at another grid, and they've got to negotiate and try to do that without, at the same time, conceding a position to one of their rivals.
Yeah, I was just watching on board there as Jones unfortunately had a moment on the exit of the last corner, or the entry of the last corner, and it looks like he spun out. He is going into the pits right now, gonna have to get a front wing change as well. But just a reminder right now, so our front runners, Flying Jippo, Osseo, Fuzz, and Chargers, those people have not pitted, so they are up at the front on the original set of tires that they started this race on, medium and hards pretty much for all of them. And then we've got Intent, Aero, and Z-Greased in 5th, 6th, and 8th place. Those guys are trying to close in on the guys in front of them so they can make their way back through the field after they have made their pit stops. So this is gonna get very heated in a few moments here as I'm watching Z-Grease closing up to Red Wing, and now goes into the pit. So he's pitting on lap 12 from medium tires. He's probably gonna go for a set of hards here. It doesn't really have any other choice other than that. And now Aero is only half a second behind Intent.
Yeah, had a penalty because he was stopped in the pits with his mechanics not doing anything for a while there, so that's disappointing for him. I'm just looking at the gaps relative to the on lap 12. You know, Intent is 14 seconds behind Flying Jippo, so that's not going to be an easy gap to overturn by any means. Flying Jippo is really in with a good shout of, if not winning this race, certainly being on the podium with his different strategy, and he started in 13th place, so that would be a great drive if he can pull it off.
Yeah, and both Intent and Arrow are on medium tires, so they are going to have to probably make another stop as well. I don't imagine they're going to be able to take those mediums until the end of the race.
Yeah, and Flying Jippo's pace is actually pretty impressive too, considering that he's on old mediums. I mean, he's only a tenth off the fastest lap of the race. Arrow set a 134.6, and Flying Jippo's done a 134.7, which is actually a quicker pace than Intent. So as they now move up to 4th and 5th, has someone else pitted, or I'm not sure what's going on there. Are Intent and Arrow battling over 4th and 5th?
Yeah.
Third and 4th now, because Chargers has pitted.
There we go, and now it looks like Arrow is going to go around the outside in turn 1. He does make up the position. It was almost like he closed the door on Intent there at the last second. I'm sure Intent's not going to be happy about that one, but they are going to have to live and fight for another day here. We're only on lap 13. We're just coming to midway in this Chinese Grand Prix for round 2 of Golden Class. Again, huge thank you to everybody who's already tuned into this stream and everybody sending in their comments. Let us know in the comments how you think this race is going to turn out, because honestly, from where we're sitting right now, it's looking like it could go a couple of different ways here. Flying Jippo could possibly put a wrench into the works of Intent and Z Greased and D'Angelo and Arrow and all of those guys who were in a really good position here. Bam Bam.
We've got Joshua and Ben going side by side through the middle sector. They're just coming through the left-right chicane at the moment, and those guys were side by side. Joshua's got the move done. I think he did that around the outside of Ben in the Williams. Fantastic move there from Mr. Joshua to move up to 9th.
Great job there from Joshua, moving himself up into 9th place. Ben swerving is now holding on to the last point-paying position in this race, as Intent and Arrow out at the front are still battling pretty much neck and neck. They are very, very close. I know the graphics are showing about 0.4 of a second, but honestly, from where we're sitting, it looks more like a couple of tenths of a second, if that. And now Intent is going to try and go for a move here. Thinking about it, down the inside of Arrow. Arrow leaves him the space, and they're still side by side. It looks like Arrow is just gonna nudge ahead. He does have the racing line, and he's gonna be on the inside for the next corner here as well. So Intent is doing everything he can, but just not enough here. Arrow is doing a huge job at defending here tonight in China in Golden Class. He's trying to hold on to as many points as he can. He's still in a very good run for trying to get a pole position, a podium here tonight. I think Flying Jippo has pitted. Yeah, he has, and he's gone on to the hard tires. He's come out in 6th place now, and it looks like overall he's only about 10 seconds behind Intent and Arrow and them. So they're battling together. Might have affected that whole sort of turnout for the race here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking, Jippo is a few seconds behind D'Angelo. He's got clean air, whilst these guys are battling for position, which will be slowing both of them down. So that has only increased Flying Jippo's opportunity even further to be in with a shout of winning this Grand Prix. He is not far behind these guys at all. 8 seconds behind Intent in 3rd place, and I'm wondering if one of these guys might think about pitting really soon to just try and give themselves some clean air. Although, having said that, Intent has fallen back behind Arrow now he's a 1.5 seconds adrift in 3rd place. So maybe that's a tactical decision by Intent to just give himself some clean air and look after the tires a bit, and just try to have a bit later on.
We're just gonna have to wait and see, as we have just passed the midway point in this race. We're on lap 15 now, so only 13 more laps to go. But in China, anything can still happen. We've had our first retirement of the race. You having a giggle mate, unfortunately, with that beautiful name, has not survived this particular Grand Prix here tonight. So he is our first retirement, our first DNF of the race. But so far, I'm surprised to say this, in China, we have not had a safety car yet.
Yeah, that just shows that, apart from that turn 1 incident, it looks like it's been pretty clean driving by everyone. We just saw Arrow and Intent have a good side-by-side battle, but there was no contact from what I saw. So The guys are doing a pretty good job. I just saw Intent have a huge moment, like the rear end just tried to step out on him coming out of turn 6. So he's got to be careful for that as these medium well. And I think we're seeing here actually the effects of him pitting a lap earlier than everyone else around him for those medium tyres. Maybe he's starting to really feel the effects of tyre wear here.
Absolutely, especially on this new game, F1 2020. I feel like they've really enhanced all of the environmental effects, like temperature of your tires, and your tire pressures actually affect your tire temperatures now. I think it's definitely adding to how much you can do in this game and how much it actually depends on your driving rather than, you know, all of the little glitches that we used to have. And while we were talking there, Flying Jippo has moved himself up into 4th place already, overtaking D'Angelo there with a move around the outside in turn 2. So now D'Angelo is dropping back behind Flying Jippo, and Flying Jippo is 3.8 seconds behind Z-Grease. Now Flying Jippo is not going to have to pit again, Z-Grease is not going to have to pit again, but Intent and Arrow are definitely going to have to pit again. So I'm very excited to see how Flying Jippo is going to close in to the back of Z-Grease here, hopefully very quickly, and then this could turn out to be a very exciting Grand Prix later on towards the end of the race.
Yep, and Flying Jippo set the fastest lap as well when he made that overtake, so Flying Jippo is flying at the moment. And I just want to give a quick shout out actually to RC7, who is the only man out there who has potted on the hard tyres. They're 16 laps old at this point, and he is holding it down in 8th position, so he's doing a good job out there on a particularly long stint here at the start of the race.
And back a little bit more, we've got another exciting battle here. RC has got Mr. Joshua right on the back of him with DRS. This might get very interesting here as they're coming into the braking zone of turn 14. It looks like Joshua's going to go down the inside. They both have a little bit of a lockup, but it looks like Joshua is going to hold the position and get up into 8th. No, he doesn't. RC7 is defending down the inside into the next corner. They're both going into the pits. RC7 overran the pits. He hit the wall.
Oh, I put the commentator's curse on him there. Big time. That was, I mean, it just looked like he didn't really brake for the entry because it's quite a tight left-hander coming into the pits here. You really have to be careful of that wall on the outside, and he's not changing his wing, which I find surprising because I would have thought that he had some damage from that, but
yeah,
anyway.
It doesn't look like it. Yeah, it looks like his front wing is all intact. So he got lucky with that one, but it's very easy to miss your braking zone and your braking point into that corner. I've seen actually last year Seafreeze has made the same mistake, and he retired out of that race due to that mistake of his, but it was a little bit wet during that race, so I'll give him that. But this was very, very exciting here tonight, seeing RC7 missing his braking point into the pits. I'll tell you who else pitted though during that time. It was Intent. So Intent is now in 9th place. He's closing in on Osseo, Bam Bam, and Ben Swerven, and he is on a medium tire to finish off this race, so he didn't go on the soft. He's going down the inside of Osseo right now, trying to fight for 8th position. Looks like he's gonna make it there in front of him. Bam Bam and Ben Swerven are battling as well, but Intent is gonna go down the inside of all of them now into turn 14. He does manage to make the move on Osseo and Ben Swerven, but not Bam Bam. So Bam Bam gained the most out of that corner. That was a beautiful move from Bam Bam, as now Intent is gonna have to DRS on him down the main straight, down the start-finish straight, and he just is rocketing right in front of him here. In front of them, it looks like Aero Fizzan has just come out of the pits. He's put on the medium tire as well. This is now going to be one hell of a fight between these three guys. Flying Jippo is only 2.4 seconds behind Z-Grease, and they're leading this race. They don't have to pit again, or, I mean, Z-Grease might have to, but he can possibly make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that Z-Grease was, he was on the hard tires, but he has been on them for 10 laps. There's 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. I guess you can pull up a 20-lap stint on the hard tires, but they are going to be pretty second rate by the end. And we've got Arrow, Intent, Bam Bam. Well, Bam Bam's on old mediums actually, but Arrow and Intent they've just pit for fresh mediums. They're going to have definite pace advantage over the likes of Seacrest and Flying Jippo. So, yep, this is going to be a fascinating end. And actually, Buzz Aleem, who has just pitted onto the mediums as well, he pitted a lap earlier than those guys, and he has stayed ahead. So he is in 4th place and 5 seconds clear of Arrow. So Buzz Aleem could well be in with a shout of a podium as well here.
And Asio now makes his move into 7th place, overtaking Bam Bam. Bam Bam will have to pit soon. I think he's actually going into the pits right now. So Asio here is also bouncing back up into this race. I think he might pose somewhat of a threat to some of the people in front if he can keep the pace on those hard tires. But Intent and Arrow and Fuzz on those medium tires, those 3 are now going to be really the ones that we should be watching. Flying Jippo is now down to 1.9 seconds in behind Seacrest, so he's definitely putting on the afterburners right now to try and close in that gap as quickly as possible, because he knows that Arrow, Intent, and those guys are going to be doing their best to close in on him. Right now, I think in terms of overall gap, he's got about 9-10 seconds on Arrow Fizzen. So, wow, this is turning out to be extremely exciting now.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Like, seeing all the different tire strategies, how they unfold towards the end of the race. I mean, we could potentially end up with a 5 or 6 car battle at the front here if you know, the guys can, if the guys behind like Buzz Aleem and Arrow and Intent, if they can have good pace at this stage of the race, then wow, it could be buckle your seatbelts time in the last sort of few laps here.
Absolutely, and if you're just joining us now, as a reminder, we are on lap 20 of 28 in round 2 of TCR Season 10 Golden Class. Oh, there we go, Arrow Fizzen sets the fastest lap of this race, 133.4, doing a very good job there of closing in the gap, and he's going to have to try and chase down Fuzz as quickly as he possibly can if he wants to contend for a higher position or for a podium here tonight. But also, big shout out to everybody who was watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, let us know what you guys think of tonight's race and everything else like that. We really love hearing from you guys in our chat and reading about it later. Check out our Facebook and all of our other social media like Twitter and you know, Instagram, all of those stuff. We have it all. Check it all out on our website. You'll find all of the links there. And also already just want to throw out a huge thank you to our affiliate sponsor, Fanatec, doing a great job for us and for everybody who likes sim racing. Definitely check out the link in the description if you're looking to buy some equipment. You can help out the league in doing so as well. And yeah, so far it's been a very exciting race. It looks like Asio has had a moment. Oh no, right after he has overtaken, he's reset himself back onto the track. I'm sure the stewards are going to take a look at that as well, because you're not allowed to do that during a race session. But he had a moment there and he's dropped down to 9th place now. So his run, I would say, at the podium is probably over here today, although he was in a pretty good position. Now looking at the front here, Flying Jippo is almost within that touching distance, within that DRS zone. He's almost a second in. He's just got a couple of thousandths of a second to shave off there, and he's going to be within DRS on Seacrest. D'Angelo is dropping back, and so is Fuzz. They're dropping by, I would say, about 2 or 3 tenths a lap on the guys in front. So I don't know if Intent and Arrow Fizzen have thrown it away here tonight with a 2-stop strategy, while the other guys here on the 1-stop are definitely flourishing right now. Do you think they still might have a chance? Is there anything left in the tanks and in those tires, Chatty?
Well, I'm just looking at the sort of the gap to the leader. Intent 18 seconds behind Seacrest, and we're on lap 21 out of 28. That's going to need a big differential in lap pace for him to get anywhere near the front of the field. I'm just wondering as well, how much further can Seacrest take these hard tyres? He's been on them for 13 laps. I think the longest hard tyre stint we've seen so far was 16 laps by RC7. So I mean, he's out in front, and he's going to want to keep it that way. So I would imagine he's going to gamble and try and get this to the end. Flying Jippo now 6/10 behind with the DRS open. He is surely going to be looking to make a move very soon for the lead of this Grand Prix.
Only 4/10 of a second as they're coming through turns 1 and 2 and 3 there, so closing in so quickly. Flying Jippo doing an extremely amazing job here. Where did he start this race? I just want to take a look at that. Position changes here. He started in 13th place. If he manages to win this race here tonight, or even finishes on the podium, he definitely is my driver of the day. But Zegreis is doing an incredible job trying to keep him behind for as long as he can. I think at a certain point, maybe in a lap or two from now, Zegreis is gonna have to realize that, you know, he's doing more damage to his tires by trying to keep him behind than just letting him through. I know it's gonna hurt, but we're gonna have to wait and see if he's gonna give up that position or if he's gonna fight it until the end. Knowing Zegreis though, I think he's gonna fight it till the end.
Yeah, and I'm just looking for Salim. He's now 9 seconds back in 4th place on those mediums. So,
safety car!
AlphaTauri. Safety car is out on lap 22. Oh my goodness.
And AlphaTauri lost it there. I think it was McLaren. Lost it on the exit of turn 13. Probably touched the curb and let the car slide out on him. And he went to shave and cut the grass on the outside of that corner. Now this changes everything. We've only got 6 laps to go. What do you say? Track position or you pit for new tires right now?
Zegreis is pitting and Flying Jippo, they're both coming into the pits.
They both almost missed it.
D'Angelo's pitting. Fuzzalim in 4th place. What will he do? He's carrying on. Fuzzalim is going to inherit the lead of this race.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I believe, anyway.
Yeah, he is continuing.
Arrow carries on. Intent is pitting from 6th place. That is fascinating to me. I mean, obviously he's going to pit on softs, which are going to give him a speed advantage at the end of the race, but how many positions is he going to lose by making a pit stop?
Fuzz finished 8th here last week in Bahrain in Golden Class, and now he is leading the race in China on lap 23 of 28 under a safety car after McLaren went off the track and had some damage there. And it was very weird that we actually got the safety car for that sort of an incident. There wasn't any debris on track. He didn't rejoin in any dangerous way. He was literally just cutting grass on the outside there, waiting until everybody passed him, and the safety car just decided to come out. But this has changed things dramatically. Fuzz moves up into 1st place. Arrow moves up into 2nd place, so he's still got a chance.
Jippo has just overtaken Zegreis under safety car potentially.
Yeah, I did see some position changes.
I saw Zegreis in 3rd and Flying Jippo in 4th, and now Jippo is ahead of Zegreis. That could be huge in these final few laps because Flying Jippo is the leading runner on the soft tires. Fuzzalim and Arrow are on the mediums, so I mean I don't know what happened there, but Flying Jippo is in 3rd place.
I really don't know, but he might have gotten that glitch that we used to have in 2019 where you would come alongside with somebody and it would all of a sudden...
Zegreis was going to move back ahead. I don't really know what these guys are doing right now.
I'm really not sure, but as I said, they might be having that glitch that tells you to give up the position even though you're supposed to be ahead. It's really gonna be very weird here right now. I'm looking as all of them are like trying to go 3 wide into corner 14 there. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, Zegreis almost made contact. And there he goes and back into 3rd now.
I mean,
Drama.
They've just had 2 overtakes behind the safety car.
Drama under safety car, just like we had in Platinum Class last weekend in Bahrain. We had a couple of people following each other too closely, and we had a touch and spin-outs, and now we have a different type of drama, but more drama under the safety car late in the race.
Yep, and well, the safety car came out on lap 22. This is lap 24 now of 28. I think normally safety car stays out for 3 laps before pitting, so we hopefully should get going again at the end of this lap. So we're going to have 4 laps to go, and 3rd place Siegfried, 4th place Flying Jippo, D'Angelo 5th, and Intent in 6th. They're all on brand new soft tyres, and they are going to be bearing down on Arrow Fisten and Fuzzalim leading this Grand Prix on 7-lap-old mediums. Well, we said a few laps ago that we might end up with the end to the race where all the drivers converge on each other. It's happened, but behind the safety car rather than under normal racing conditions.
Yeah, and just before that, I also did mention that it was weird that we did not have a safety car yet in China. So I guess really the gods of Codemasters must be watching over this race tonight and just giving us exactly what we're asking for. So let's ask for a very exciting end to this Grand Prix. Let's see what we're gonna see, what we're gonna have here tonight. I'm sure that those front runners, oh, there we go, safety car is coming in this lap. Everybody from 6th all the way down to 1st are gonna be fighting for this win here tonight. I'm sure of it. Intent wants to have a 2nd win in a row in this golden class. That would be extremely incredible from a rookie in this league. 5-second penalty there for RC7 and somebody else for collisions under safety car.
Yeah, it was M9H as well who got the penalty. Anyone who's watching this right now, please leave a comment and say who do you think is going to win this race.
Absolutely, I'll make sure that we figure out some sort of a prize to go to somebody if they can call it. But my call would probably be Flying Jippo. I think he's had the pace all race long. He's on a good strategy right now. He's in a good place to take this race away from everybody else. He is sort of battling with Seagrace already on the restart as we're gonna come across the last corner now. Safety car's peeling in, but we have to be slowed down a little bit there. Fuzz almost destroyed everybody there. Aerofizza gets a 5-second penalty. Everybody got a 5-second penalty from that. Flying Jimbo is up into 3rd place now, making a move on Aerofizza. He's up into 2nd. Fuzz is going wide through the 1st corner. There's Jimbo going into turn 1 now, trying to take away the lead of this race right after the restart from Fuzz. Behind him, it looks like Aerofizza has moved up into 3rd, but he's a little bit twitchy on the exit. And there goes D'Angelo. Oh, and they touch!
Oh, I was on board with D'Angelo, so I didn't really see what happened there, but...
More touching, Aerofizz and D'Angelo, more touching there between the two of them. Intent is trying to make up his way into 5th place, and he does go up into 5th now, so he's gonna have to close in that gap because Flying Jippo is already 1.7 seconds ahead of everybody else. Oh, he's going really wide there on the exit of turn 10. That might be reviewed. McLaren P1 gets a time 2nd penalty for exceeding track limits during regular track limits. I don't really know how you can do that. Z-Grace is closing in right to the back of Fuzz now, who's dropped from the lead of this race. Down into 2nd, we have a yellow in sector 3. I think somebody has lost the car there. It looks like a Alpha...
SRL Knight is spinning round just before the back straight. Again, didn't see what happened, but yeah.
Fuzz is going down the inside on Z-Grease. They're gonna touch. They make contact. Z-Grease had to go a little bit wide there to keep the position. Fuzz is still fighting for it as they're coming to the last corner now. D'Angelo behind them in 4th. Flying Jimbo is already 2.1 seconds ahead of everybody else and setting fastest laps here with a 1:32.5.
I'm sure that Flying Jippo must have had a problem in qualifying because he's had phenomenal pace in this Grand Prix. He's been fastest laps on hards or mediums earlier, and now he does a 32 point, was it a 32.5 there on the soft tyres? And he's got a 2-second lead here with 3 laps to go. Can Seagrace do anything about this?
McLaren and Knight both retire from this race in the pits, so thank you for doing that. At least that's a good one, but it looks like their AI cars are gonna come back onto the track now. We have yellow flags waving in sector 1 and 2 because of that. Meanwhile, we're watching Intent as he's trying to close in and overtake D'Angelo, but he's not having a very easy time of doing that. He's really doing everything he can here, but it's not enough as we are now on lap 26 of 28. Flying Jippo retaking the lead of this race after that huge restart, that messy restart. We had 5-second penalties handed out to everybody at the front of the grid because of touching under safety car. We had a 10-second penalty for P1 for McLaren P1, who's now retired from this race. Intent is not close enough on this occasion either, but Aerofizzen is closing in behind. He might be thinking about trying to retake this race again because he's had just up and down race, Aerofizzen. He's been in the front, then at the back, then in the front, then in the back again. It's just been all over the place for him tonight.
Yeah, he's got a tyre disadvantage. That's his main problem at the moment. He's on 7-lap-old mediums compared to Intent and D'Angelo, who are on much fresher soft tyres. Just to mention quickly about that safety car restart, what you have to do in this game, when you hear the message from Jeff that the safety car is coming in, oh, and Arrow's been overtaken by Asio for 6th place. They're going side by side now, out of turn 4 and down towards the braking zone of turn 6. Can Arrow hold on? Asio goes deep, and they're still going side by side as they come to this left-right fast chicane. I think Asio's going to have to back out. No, he isn't. There's still... No, Arrow has gone to 6th place.
Nobody is giving an inch here tonight in this Chinese Grand Prix in TCR Season 10 Golden Class. It's been absolutely incredible racing here from start to finish. We had some incidents. We had a safety car very late in this race that changed everything. But most of all, I think tire strategies have definitely played a massive role here tonight. Flying Jippo is still leading this race with a couple of seconds clear of Zegries. Fuzz has managing to hold on to the podium in 3rd right now, and he is a couple of seconds or almost 3 seconds clear of D'Angelo. I'm watching Asio here, and in front of them, yeah,
Intent's going down the inside. Intent's up to 4th place.
Oh, Arrow Fizzin ran right into D'Angelo. They're trying to overtake him, and Asio is now up into 6th again.
Wow.
D'Angelo is now making his move on Intent down the start-finish straight as we're going on to the last lap of this race. Lap 28 of 28. Intent is up into 4th. They make contact!
Oh, no! Intent has gone off.
And reset himself back onto the track. So again, we're not allowed to do that. Oh, and somebody has run into the back of him. It looks like Joshua and Chargers ran into the back of Joshua, having to slow down for Intent. And this is exactly why we ask that you do not reset your car on track, because it might cause incidents like that. Meanwhile, Asio is back up into 4th now.
What is going on? I don't know if D'Angelo made a mistake there, but wow, great progress from Asio on the full lap. Now we've got Arrow going around the outside of...
Yeah, Arrow is now moving up into 5th. D'Angelo has dropped about 3 positions there in a matter of just a few corners, as we are now coming pretty much to the end of this Grand Prix. Flying Jippo is now on the back straight, and nobody can touch him. 2.3 seconds clear of Zegries. Fuzz 3.7 seconds behind Zegries. Asio 4 seconds behind them. So I think this is all pretty much it here for tonight. But Red Wing Racing is still trying to make a move on D'Angelo right into the last couple of corners here. Let's see if he's gonna make that work. I don't think so. And Flying Jippo is gonna come across the line here, and he is going to win this Grand Prix. He does have a 5-second time penalty to his name. Zegries crosses the line, goes into 1st place as it stands at the moment. Fuzz is in 3rd. Asio is gonna be in 4th. No, he's gonna be in 3rd. It looks like Fuzz had a 5-second penalty as well. So Asio takes the last step on the podium away from Fuzz. Red Wing in 5th. Joshua in 6th. Arrow Fizzen finishes 7th. He's not gonna be happy with that. D'Angelo in 8th. Intent 9th after everything that he's done here tonight. M9H Racing in 10th. RC7 finishes 11th. Round out the back of the grid here. Wow! So after all of that, because of those touches under the safety car, because I feel like Fuzz and everybody else behind them did not give enough time for the safety car to go past the white line that actually defines the safety car line, after which you can start accelerating again up to race pace, I think this is what has decided our race here tonight, because those 5-second penalties have affected the finishing grid completely here.
Yeah, I think this is something that will need to be sort of mentioned to the drivers in future. When you have a safety car restart, you have to give the safety car a lot of space before you press down that accelerator again, because if you're too close and you get onto that front straight, then the game will take over your car and slow you down and cause problems like we had today. But what a drive from Flying Jippo and Zegries at the front. Fantastic stuff.
Z-Grease is the man here tonight, lifting up that trophy on the top step and smashing that champagne bottle. There we go, taking the win, although on a penalty here tonight that might be reviewed, might be considered, but I gotta say he did an incredible job. Flying Jippo on the second step, incredible drive from him. I don't know how he did not get the driver of the day. Asio did get driver of the day, but I really feel like it should have gone to Flying Jippo. Asio though started 17th, finishes 3rd on the podium. Beautiful job from him. Fuzz started 14th, finishes 4th. Red Wing Racing starts 16th and finished 5th. Joshua 6th. Aero Fizz at 7th. D'Angelo 8th and 10th and 9th. He's not going to be happy with that starting from pole. M9H Racing in 10th. RC7 in 11th. Chargers 12th. Bam Bam 13th. Ben Swervin 14th. Golderator, Jones 9th. McLaren and You Having a Giggle round up the grid. We had 4 DNFs in You Having a Giggle, McLaren, Knight. Or 3 DNFs, sorry. Those guys did not finish the race, but oh my goodness, that was an incredible finish to this race. I also just want to take a look at those penalties. It looks like Ben Swerve and M9H, Fuzz, Aerofizz and Flying Jippo, D'Angelo, Intent, and McLaren all got 5-second penalties for those touches under safety car, and that has been the decider in tonight's race here. Wow, round 2, China, Golden Class, TCR Season 10. It is turning out to be unbelievable season already. We do have some of our drivers with us here for the post-race interviews already. So I want to start with Z-Grease taking that top step. As it stands right now, I know that it is due to a penalty, but how do you feel about that? How do you feel about those penalties for touches on the safety car? And just tell us about your race here tonight.
Went pretty good all in all. Any penalty I seen that was given out under that safety car was well deserved, because people were driving like maniacs during it trying to.
All right, and Chatty Duck, did you want to ask anything?
Yeah, sorry, my audio just cut out for a second there. Seagrace, under the safety car, it looked like you and Flying Jippo were kind of trying to overtake each other. What was happening there?
Oh, I think we might have lost Z-Grease there, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, I think he's left the part. Okay.
So maybe same question for Flying Jippo.
Yeah.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Alright, so, a bit of an eventful race today. I got that 5-second penalty. Just want to clear this up for collision under safety car. I really don't know what happened. I think D'Angelo hit me from the rear, but I don't believe that's fair. I should have won that race. I was, quickest throughout everything, and I really hope the stewards can solve this, because that's not like this. As Vettel could say from Canada 2019, no, not like this. But under the safety car, the reason we were switching, because the game told me that he was out of the race, and it said I could pass him, so I passed him, and he was still in the race. So I was really confusing, and then he kept passing me back, and he wasn't getting a penalty for it. I'm really confused why that was happening. But otherwise, that was really chaotic. Yeah.
Well, I just want to ask again, Flying Jippo, you came from, I think it was, 14th on the grid and up to 2nd place. I know you technically finished the race in 1st, so again, it's all pending steward consideration. But in terms of, your qualifying, what happened there? Did you make a mistake in qualifying or something, or were you sort of not quick over a 1 lap?
So I was quick over 1 lap. I did the first lap. I went out on softs and I set 2 purple sectors, and I went back into the pit lane because I really wanted to try starting on the mediums, because the soft isn't really the best race tire. And then I went out in the mediums, tried to set a lap, and I only went P10. So I went back in, tried to set another lap on softs, and I spun coming out of the hairpin down the straight. And that was, my qualifying over. It's unfortunate, but I got a really good start and was able to really claw my way back up the field pretty fast.
Well, incredible performance here today, and you know, for me personally, I think you were the driver of the day. But speaking of the driver of the day, the man who did get that sort of official Codemasters title in this particular race, that was Asio. Asio, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. So you started even further back. You started 17th on the grid and finished in 3rd on the podium. How do you feel about that? How did it go from your end?
It was a really crazy race from turn 1 all the way up until the safety car. The safety car kind of reinvigorated the race for me because I was all but out of it after being held in the pits by the pit glitch where my team wasn't ready for me. But during qualifying, going out on that final run, I was behind Intent coming out of the pits, and he must not have got off the limiter right away, and I ended up hitting right in the back of him and wasn't able to set a final lap, which is why I was down in P17. But overall, it was a pretty exciting race.
Absolutely, and I also have to say, I mean, last season you were in the silver class, and as far as I remember, in terms of total points, you were in 13th place overall. Now, coming into golden class, less assists, it's supposed to be a little bit more difficult. You're already on the podium in round 2. What is your expectation of yourself for the rest of the season?
I'd say my expectation is just kind of stay within that top 5. I mean, I ended up on the podium last week just due to penalty. I don't know if what Fuzz's penalty was on and if it will stand, but I guess kind of just try to stay within the top 5, and if a podium happens, then that's good.
We have Sigris has rejoined us actually in the party. Can you hear us, Sigris?
Yeah, I can. I had a little power glitch there. I'm glad it waited until after the race, at least.
Yeah, that's very true. So I just want to know, because just before the safety car, you were out there on very old hard tires. So a couple of questions really. What was the grip like for you at that stage? And did you think that you could get those tires to the end of the race?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great, but I definitely could have made it till the end. I know Jippo was on some newer cards at that time. He was gaining on me big time. I think he would have got me, but I think I would have held on to second, probably, had that been the case. But yeah, when the safety car came out, I knew everybody else was going to put on the new tires, so I needed to.
Well, incredible race here tonight. Zigris, if you don't mind, just mute the stream there. We can hear ourselves on the mute. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, shit, my bad, because I ain't got my headset plugged in.
No problem. So, yeah, everybody, I mean, did we ask all the questions? Shadi, did you have any other questions for any of our podium finishers?
No more questions I can think of right now. I just want to say great job to all of you guys. That was a really fantastic race to watch, and this is my first race commentating for TCR, so that was a really exciting one to kick off with, so thanks to all you guys for that. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for joining me in the booth here tonight. Absolutely incredible. First time commentating for you, but I think not gonna be the last one. I'm hoping to see you back here on another stream with us very, very soon. Thanks again for joining, and also thank you to all of our drivers in the Golden Class tonight for delivering an incredibly entertaining race. Came down to the wire, came down to the last few laps and a couple of penalties, and that safety car pretty much changed the story of tonight here. I think Flying Jippo definitely did an incredible job, and if that penalty gets overturned, I think it's definitely well deserved from him, starting as far back on the grid as he did, recovering back to second place. Definitely deserves that win. But it's all going to be down to the stewards after this race, and I just want to throw out a huge thank you to everyone who was watching the stream all throughout this time. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you for all the comments, all the likes, and everything else. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our social media pages to be up on all of the action that's coming your way in Season 10 in TCR. Again, also a huge thank you to all of our podium finishers for joining us in post-race commentary. Huge thank you again to Chatty Duck for joining me in the booth. Huge thank you to all the officials and everybody else that works on TCR every single week to make this happen, and also to Fanatec, our affiliate sponsor, for quite a a while now, and they're an incredible company. Check out the link in the description for a little bit of a help to our team and our league if you want to buy some equipment for yourself and help ourselves at the same time. It's a great company, and they have some great systems and great equipment. So thanks everyone again. We will be back here tomorrow for Platinum class at the same time at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for China again for round 2. I will be back in the booth. Might have a special guest again. We might have Smeg coming back for another commentary appearance tomorrow. I will keep you updated on that. But until then, thank you so much everyone for watching. We will see you tomorrow night. Have a great night and goodbye.